Hello everyone, welcome back. And Barcelona beats Real Oviedo 3-1 in a comeback win. Obviously that first half they didn't start that great, but after that goal it was a little bit of a wake-up call. Pedri was absolutely incredible today. Ronald Araujo put in a monster performance. I think there were a lot of great positives to take away from this game, and of course some negatives like Joan Garcia gifting the ball away to Real Oviedo. Obviously that ended up resulting in the goal, but a ton of stuff that I want to talk about today. And obviously great to see Ronald Araujo dedicate his goal to Gavi, who recently just found out that he was going to be injured for another 4 to 5 months. So all great things today. And Barcelona, they walk away with 3 points. And yeah, as I said, Barcelona did not start the game very well, but of course they upped the tempo when they knew they needed a goal. After that mistake from Joan Garcia, which ultimately gave the ball to Real Oviedo, and they scored from 35, 40 yards out, they still had a lot to do to put it in the back of the net. But obviously Joan Garcia has saved Barcelona a handful of times this season, so I'm not really worried about that. And I think he'll kind of learn a little bit more, because you want him to play confident with the ball, but that was just a little bit too reckless. And I think he's going to learn from that, because he's been very good. He's been very quick off his line, and in distribution, I've been really impressed with him. But today, obviously, that one mistake, it's going to cost you. And that's really the only position that you just cannot give the ball away. Like everyone else has a little bit more, freedom to make mistakes. But obviously, as a goalkeeper, that's a really tough giveaway, but not worried about it too much. But Barcelona, I really liked what I saw from them after that first goal. I think they started very slow, but then Pedri, as I said, absolutely incredible. I mean, for the first 70 minutes of this game, I think it just slowed down when Barcelona were more in control of the match. But Pedri completely took over. He was head and shoulders above everyone on the pitch today. And even going forward, even when you have players like Marcus Rashford, Rafinha, Ferran Torres, Dani Olmo, in terms of creativity, like they all have something to give to Barcelona. But it was Pedri every single time he got the ball that was making something happen. He's so smart. He's just incredible in the way that he plays. I can't praise him enough, because he's dropping performances like that very consistently. But this one today, I mean, just another moment of brilliance from him. And I feel like he was ultimately the positive to take away from Barcelona in those first, 45 to 70 minutes, because he just made everything happen. He took over this match again. But then Frankie de Jong also came in and provided just such a great pass, a great assist to Lewandowski, and that ended up helping Barcelona win the game. So I'm just so happy that Barcelona have both Pedri and Frankie de Jong in the midfield. Not only is it a joy to watch, but it just helps you win games like this. And so, great. And in that first goal that they had, I want to say that Ronald Araujo, what was he doing on the left-hand side? I think it was from a corner, so, he has reason to be up there. But then to take his man on the left-hand side and just go 1v1, go at him, beat him down the line and put a great ball into the box. And then Ferran Torres did so well just to get a shot on goal. It was a great save from the keeper, because he had to take the ball, turn around, and half volley it on him. And he got a great shot. And then Eric Garcia kind of just fell to him, and he did well to follow it up. So that really helped Barcelona get back into the game. And after that moment, you just felt like the momentum was in their favor. They were going to come back and score maybe 1 or 2 more, and that's exactly what they did. But yeah, I want to also shout out Hansi Flick, because I think every single substitution that he made was completely perfect. It's exactly what the game needed. He brought on Frankie de Jong at halftime, and that completely helped Barcelona dominate. I think Marcus Asado was struggling, to be honest, in this game. So Frankie de Jong came on, helped Barcelona look so much better and more controlled in the midfield, and then he passed such a great ball. I mean, that cross was perfect. It was a dime right on Lewandowski's head. Lewandowski still had a lot to do. Great finish from him, but just incredible from Frankie de Jong in this match. And he also had another chip through ball to Lewa that I thought was just so elegant. He's such a great player, and he's in a great run of form and full of confidence right now. So yeah, that was great. And then overall, that third goal, just to help wrap up the game, Ronald Araujo with a great header. And he was even being fouled. It didn't matter. Put it in the back of the net. And as I said, it was just so great to see Ronald Araujo tribute his goal to Gavi, who obviously means so much to Barcelona. And I'll maybe get into that more, because it's just such a terrible moment for him in his career. And I know he feels really upset about it, because, you felt like there were some rumors that he got injured, and then we didn't know how long he was going to be out, but no one really expected it to be 4 to 5 months. And obviously Gavi was caught by surprise by that. So it was a really nice moment to see Araujo dedicate his goal to Gavi. Just love to see that. But yeah, as I said, Ronald Araujo, what a great performance. Not just the goal, and also not just the assist really to set up the first goal, because he took his man on. Just such a great play from him. But overall, he was so good today in terms of just blocking everything, putting his body on the line, anything in the box he was clearing out for Barcelona. He did so well. I think, I think Eric Garcia looked very good going forward. Kubarsi was pretty quiet. I think he was good, but I think Araujo kind of stole the show in defense for me. And then Gerard Martin, I think he had a okay game. I don't think it was his best performance, to be completely honest, but he's kind of one of those guys that I think puts his head down and goes to work, even though in terms of a skill set, maybe sometimes you feel like he could be giving a little bit more, especially when you're kind of used to Balde in that position. But, he still put his head down and put in a shift today. And the most important thing was that Barcelona got the win. But, yeah, I also think Marc Casado did definitely struggle in that first half. He seemed like he was taking a little bit too long on the ball. Maybe his touches were a bit loose. I still think he's a great profile to have in Barcelona's team. So I'm not worried about the future and his future at Barcelona. But I just think it was an off performance from him. I think some of his touches were a little bit sloppy and kind of didn't seem like he was checking his shoulder as frequently as he should be. But, of course, Pedri, when you have a midfield partner like that, he completely took over. And I could praise him. I seriously think he's playing at an all-timer level this season. There's no one that you can really compare with him in Europe currently, so you kind of just have to go back to old players and say, were they dropping these good of performances over the course of an entire year? Because Pedri, he's been absolutely incredible, unplayable. That's exactly what he was in this game. Same with the game against Newcastle. Same with almost every game that we've seen from him in the last year. Just incredible. And like I said, Frank de Jong came on and changed the game. I think Dani Olmo did have a couple good moments in this game, but relatively quiet, to be completely honest. I think at the beginning he looked pretty bright, but then maybe slowed down a little bit towards the end. Obviously, it is tough to not have Fermin Lopez there, and some people have also said that Dro can come on and potentially play as the 10 because what we saw from preseason, he looked very good, looked like such an exciting player. So I really hope that at one point this season we do get to see that. And I think with Fermin Lopez and Gavi being out injured, Dro might have a few opportunities in the next couple weeks to be a substitute to Dani Olmo. So I'm really excited to see that. And then I'm not sure if the Rafinha substitution was tactical, if there was an injury there. I haven't even gotten on Twitter to see yet. I think Rafinha was pretty quiet in this game, but he did have a couple good moments. He did hit the post from a great shot outside of the box, but overall maybe wasn't his best showing. Could say the same thing about Marcus Rashford. I really think it was Barcelona's midfield that won the game for them this season or this game. And Araujo, obviously, not only just creating the first goal, but then also scoring the third to finish off the game for Barcelona. I think Ferran Torres also had a very good game. Maybe didn't get on the score sheet, but I think he was just working very hard and he was just a nuisance for their defense. And I also want to talk about Real Oviedo because, I mean, that is such a great team to see. I mean, Santi Cazorla, at 40 years old, still doing it in La Liga after all the injuries that he had. I mean, what an incredible player. Eric Bailly, I didn't even know that he was playing on that team, but he dropped such a great performance in defense. He was all over the place. Barcelona could not get past him. And then Salomon Rondon was at striker. What a crazy team to play against in La Liga. So honestly, I think they had a very good performance. That first goal that they scored, felt like they were definitely going to park the bus and make it difficult for Barcelona, and they definitely did. But Barcelona, when you have the talent of players like Pedri and Lewandowski and Frankie de Jong, I mean, those things happen. And Barcelona, they did score 2 goals from defenders today, kind of from scrappy moments, but sometimes that's what you have to do in La Liga, and you had to get it done, and that's exactly what they did today. So very happy with the 3 points. But yeah, I do want to talk about Gavi because I've seen a few Barcelona fans maybe lose faith in him a little bit, which I think is just crazy to me because I never want to lose faith in a player, even if they've had a couple injury problems. And the example that I'm going to use is the player that we saw, the best midfielder in the world. That's exactly what we saw today. I mean, he was incredible, and Pedri was a guy that went through a couple years of injuries. And so Gavi, I think, can do the same thing. He can bounce back in terms of the injuries that he's picked up, and I just have to hope the best from Gavi because obviously he was devastated to miss a couple months of the season. That was just tough for him, but I really hope that he can bounce back. I think he has so much talent, and I'm really excited to see where his career takes him. But I don't want people to lose faith in him because I really think he can do so well to come back for Barcelona, and I'm really excited to see that. And another thing that I do want to talk about is the squad because some Barcelona fans have maybe talked about a potential injury crisis in the midfield because they started the season with 7 midfielders, and some fans were even saying that's too many midfielders. You don't need that many. Sell 1 or 2 of them. Sell either Dani Olmo or Marc Casado. I saw that, and this exact reason is why you would not want to do something like that because the season is very long, and you have 2 players, Gavi and Fermin Lopez, pick up injuries, and I hope Fermin Lopez is out for maybe a month. I hope he's not out for any longer. But also, Marc Bernal just came back from a very long-term injury, and so you don't want to force these players back into the starting lineup, but you have so many games to win. So it's kind of a difficult problem to have. You don't want to go into games with such a shifted squad that you don't have the ability to win a game. But at the same time, you want to rest these players, and that's exactly what he did with resting Frankie de Jong in this match. And I think of a player like Dani Olmo, who's had a ton of injury problems, and now he's really the only starting 10 at the club, if you don't include Dro or maybe Rafinha if he drops into that position when Lamine Yamal comes back from injury. So I've seen some fans talk about it, and I did want to just discuss that. But that's exactly why you don't, sell your squad players. Some people that you don't maybe see getting into the starting lineup because they are going to be starting games. Like it's a long season. You have to rest players. So yeah, I'm very happy that Barcelona did decide to keep players like Marc Asado and Dani Olmo, because I know there was some talk about mostly Marc Asado, but even though he didn't have the best performance today, it's still great to have a number like him. So yeah, overall, the squad I'm very happy with, and at this point in the season, you just have to hope that everyone can stay healthy. But yeah, as always, VISCA Barca, I hope you all have a great rest of your day, and thank you for watching the video. I really do appreciate it, and I'm really excited for Barcelona's next game. I know they've had a lot of matches that seems like a short amount of time, which is great for the viewers, because I would love to watch Barcelona games as much as possible, but also you want to make sure that these players are able to stay healthy, so you have to rotate, and you have to find a way to pick up points even if you don't have your full squad. So yeah, as I said, as always, VISCA Barca. Hope you all have a great rest of your day, and I will see you all later. Peace.